Good morning. We're working, or good afternoon, depending on when you're listening to this. This is Mrs. Charias. This is an article from the New York Times opinion pages by an op-ed writer. An op-ed writer is someone who writes into the newspaper. Doesn't work for the newspaper, but they might have an expertise in some particular area, and they write into the newspaper about this topic. This topic is called nudges. Nudges that help struggling students succeed. And a nudge is something that a teacher does, or any adult might do, to make sure that a student is doing something that they need to do. A small nudge might be me saying to you, oh, remember that Homework Center is available today so you can sign up during lunch. Or another nudge might be me checking your planner when you come to LSP to make sure that you're writing in your planner. This article is entitled Nudges That Help Struggling Students Succeed. It's by David L. Kirp, K-I-R-P. It's from 2016. I'm only going to read you some of the article. The version that you have in front of you, or that's up in Dossier, up in Schoology, will be also the same edited version. There were certain paragraphs I didn't think you really need to look at. Dr. Kirp is a professor at the University of California, Berkeley. He does Berkeley, that's out in California, guys, big public university out in California. And he does research and writing about how we learn. Okay, I'm going to start the article. When I was in high school, I earned A's in all my classes. Until I took calculus. In algebra and geometry, I could coast on memorizing formulas, but now I had to think for myself. It was disastrous, culminating in my getting a charity C, and I barely passed my college calculus class. Culminating is a word that means at the end, finally, like the result at the end of the class. And the charity C means if the student maybe really worked hard and the professor felt bad for them, or the teacher, they would give them a C rather than maybe the D or F that they actually had earned. Not something that teachers really do nowadays. Okay. The reason I was convinced was that I didn't have a math mind. The reason I was convinced was that I didn't have a math mind. I have avoided the subject ever since. It turns out that I got it wrong. While it's unlikely that I could have become a math whiz, it wasn't my aptitude for math that was an impediment, meaning a block or a problem. It was my belief that I had the impediment to begin with. So it wasn't that he had a math problem, but he believed he did. So it came true. Like if you believe there's no way I can get an A in or a B in science because my labs aren't that great, and then you don't do a good job on your labs, boom, it comes true because not because you couldn't do a good job, but because you believed you couldn't, so you didn't try. I'm not the only person convinced that he can't like math. Millions of college freshmen flunk those courses, and because algebra is often required, many drop out of school altogether. A report from the Mathematical Association of America flagged math as the most significant barrier to graduation. And like I tell you guys, most of the time, you have to pass the algebra regions to get a diploma in New York State. So it's true in high school. You really need to be able to do some math. This fatalistic equation can be altered. Fatalistic is like final result or deadly. Equation here they're using metaphorically, saying that if you believe you can't do it, then you can't do it. But they're saying this can be changed. This can be altered. In scores of rigorously conducted studies, that means actual experiments, school psychologists have demonstrated that brief experiences can have a powerful and long-lasting impact on students' academic futures by changing their mindsets before they get to college. Remember we talked about mindset? This is having a red brain, right? Working hard. Consider these examples from 3 recent studies. I'm only going to read you 2 of the examples. A cohort of 6th grade students was taught in 8 lessons that intelligence was malleable, changeable, not fixed, that the brain is a muscle that goes stronger with effort. Their math grades, which had been steadily declining, going down, rose substantially, went up a lot, while the grades of classmates who learned only about good study habits continued to get worse. When an English teacher critiqued, which gave feedback to black male adolescents' papers, meaning black male teenagers' papers, English papers, she added a sentence stating that she had high expectations and believed that if the students worked hard, he could meet her exacting standards. That's just a sentence that said, you didn't do that great, but I know if you worked hard, you could get a better grade. 88% of those students who got that simple extra sentence rewrote the assignment and put more effort into the rewriting, while just a third of their peers who were given comments that simply provided feedback did not. So 88% who got that sentence rewrote it and did better because they worked harder at it, and only 1/3 who were told regular stuff did it. So that was a big improvement. Innovative social psychological thinking, not magic, is at work here. These interventions focus on how kids, hunched over their desks in the back of the classroom, make sense of themselves and their environment. They can be brief but powerful because they concentrate on a single core belief. These interventions are designed to combat students' negative feelings. I'm dumb, some believe. I don't belong here. The school views me only as a member of an unintelligent group. The first two experiences give students the insight that brain work will make them smarter. If you work harder, your brain will get better. The third invites them to situate, which that's the one we didn't read. You have to put yourself in the path to belonging or connect their values in a classroom setting. So you have to understand that your hard work will help you make a better connection to the classroom. The goals are to build up the resistance and prepare them for adversity. The impact in all these studies is greater on Black and Latino students. That makes sense, since as adolescents, they are far more inclined to see teachers as prejudiced and school as a hostile environment. As these youths come to feel more secure, they are likely to make a greater effort. When you have a little more success, you'll feel more confident, you'll feel more part of the school, and you'll be more successful. Success begets success. That means when you have a little success, it makes more success. They start earning A's and B's instead of C's, and they take tougher classes and connect more readily with their like-minded students. There are 3 strategies represented here. The first, pioneered by the Stanford School's social psychology professor Carol Dweck, that's Dr. Dweck, remember we saw her video earlier in the year, illustrated by the initial example, aims to change students' mindsets by showing them that their intelligence can grow through deliberate work. I've written about Dr. Dweck's theories as applied to college students. His article today is about college students, but he says they're just as successful as students in middle school. That's you guys. Students who come to see themselves as masters of their own destiny, meaning if you work hard, you can be in charge of where you go in the world, can take advantage of opportunities to learn, but only if those opportunities exist. They won't learn biology unless there's a biology class, and they won't learn to be critical thinkers unless the school makes that a priority. But you're lucky. Here at White Plains Middle School, you have lots of chances to take hard science classes, lots of chances to learn to be critical thinkers in critical literacy and in English and science, social studies. These opportunities are here. You just need to take advantage of them. What's more, as the researchers are quick to point out, a brief intervention can't even begin to address the pernicious effects of poverty and discrimination. So what that means is there's some things we can fix with working harder and some things we can't, but we can do the best we can while we're here in school to have our best result academically, which gives us choices about our own futures, okay? Still, these experiences require a trivial amount of time. Me telling you that you need to work hard for success and your brain will grow only takes a few minutes and costs next to nothing. Can make an outsized difference, can make a big difference in your lives. What's not to like? Okay, so you're going to finish this article and then go back and read it one more time on your own and see what you think. Okay? Thanks.